How did your Friday the 13th go? Mine was, okay, so I've been having problems with my computer. I tried to export this video that I had edited and it wouldn't let me do that because some files were missing. I had recorded quite a few video clips over the course of January and December and even November that I want to upload onto my computer. And every time I try to import anything, it always has that error message. So I thought, to hell with this, I'm going to a public computer, I'm going to bring my flash drive with me, and those video files did not end up on my flash drive as far as I know. So yeah, so there's like 70 video clips just sitting on a computer, I guess, that anybody can have access to. So I went home. I was upset and I tried to drown my sorrows by watching this television show that I've been obsessed with since October, and go to the website and I find out that it's geo-blocked. So it's like, man, this went from bad to worse. Since October, I've been obsessed with this Norwegian show called Skam. And a lot of people have said that it's like the Norwegian version of Skins. And I am one of those people who are saying, no, 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 no. There are some things that Skam and Skins have in common. They're about teenagers. They're not set in the United States, so there is like more swear words, some things that you wouldn't see on shows for teenagers in the United States. The actors who play the characters are teenagers themselves, or they're in their very early 20s and they look like teenagers. And another thing that they have in common, US remakes. I watched Skins, I got into it in 2007, and I had a love-hate relationship with it. I liked that it had this big ensemble cast, but every episode you follow a different character. And I really liked the cinematography of the show, and I felt like it offered something that you don't see a lot of with stories that are marketed towards teenagers. Now, I did have a lot of problems with Skins. I didn't like how I felt like it was overly pretentious. It like went out of its way to be down with the cool kids. It felt very melodramatic and like trying way too hard to be edgy at times. And one of the things that I love about Skam is that a lot of the things that I hate about Skins aren't there. Like, they don't need to have a character die every other season in order to keep things interesting. It's very good at utilizing really quiet scenes. Every scene that is released, I feel, is significant in moving the plot forward or in further developing the characters and developing the characters' relationship to one another. But it's also ordinary. In the first season, we follow this character, Eva, and she has a boyfriend named Jonas. I have to fight the urge to say Jonas, but they pronounce it Jonas. Anyway, her boyfriend and his best friend basically make up her entire social circle. She's no longer talking to her old group of friends, and she doesn't yet have a new group of friends. So in the first episode, she's invited to this party and she wants to go, but she has nobody to go with, and she wants to convince like her boyfriend Jonas to go, but he's busy that day. I loved how realistic it was. And that's a struggle that a lot of people have. You want to go out and be social, but at the same time, you want to have somebody to go with you to do those things because it might be awkward if you're there alone. And I loved seeing like this scene of her at her house, like with a towel on her head because she'd just taken a shower, and she's watching Dr. Phil on her laptop. But then something clicks and she decides to go to this party, and that sets everything in motion for the rest of the season. Because at that party, she meets Vilda, she meets girl Chris, she meets boy Chris, she meets Nora. My favorite thing about season 1 was that, well, I have a lot of favorite things, but it was the formation of this girl gang. I see a lot in TV where the character already has a group of friends and it's more about like them trying to get together with their love interests. But in season 1, it was flipped in that Eva already has a boyfriend, but that's her entire social circle. And the show was more about her getting a new group of friends together. I love their like dynamic together. Like definitely love Sana. She can be very sarcastic and witty and blunt, and she seems mean, but she has a heart of gold. And I like how she's written like a well-written, complex character, because when I see Muslims on television, either they're not very present, they're very offensive stereotypes like terrorists, or it's like a very special episode where it's like, and here's where we show that not all Muslims are terrorists, and it's wrong to be mean to Muslims, and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, I think it's better to just have a character and have them be treated as a person. She's my favorite character out of the show, and I hope to God that she is the next main character. In season 3, we follow a different character named Isak. He's gay and in the closet, and I've seen a lot and I've read a lot of like coming out stories that are also like coming out / like secret romance love stories. But I love how this one was executed. I'm gonna bring up skins again, but when Naomi and Emily were together, there was this scene where they had just like had sex, and while they're still naked in bed together, Emily brings up, hey, I want to tell people. And Naomi's like, no, I'm not really feeling that. And then Emily like suddenly gets pissed and she's like, I'm so sick and tired. I'm so sick and tired of this hiding. And it's like, for me, that drama just came completely out of nowhere. Like, I feel like if they were going to go down that route of having Naomi not wanting to come out be a problem, then they should have actually shown it be a problem, just not have Emily blow up out of nowhere. Again, that doesn't really happen on Skam in terms of like, Isak is never given an ultimatum like, you have to come out to people or else. And it's not a source of tension with their relationship because they have other problems that they're dealing with. And also, Isak not wanting to come out, it affects his relationship with his friends more. There were times when he wasn't hanging out with his friends, even though he had plans to hang out with them, because he wanted to hang out with Evan, his love interest, instead. And then when things were on the rocks with him and Evan, he was all moody and he withdrew from his friends even more, and his friends were really confused by this. They didn't understand what the hell was going on. So him not being out to his friends, it isolated him, and it built like this wall between him and the people that he's closest to. When he came out, it's not like, oh, now everything's dandy with him and Evan because they have the same problems as before. And it only affected his relationship with Evan indirectly in that he was able to then go to his friends for advice. So this show has become very popular. It completely blew up on Tumblr, and it was like the #1 trending show for a few weeks in November and December. I think it was like around October or early November, people started tweeting at NRK, which is the network in Norway which produces the show, to give us official English subtitles, because most of the English speaking world, we relied on like Norwegian fans to translate what they were saying. Sometimes people would take the video and upload their own subtitles to it and then upload it onto YouTube, and then that would get struck down because of copyright, or they put it in like a Google Drive. But anyway, it was just kind of messy, and people were like, you know, this has such a huge international following, it would be nice if NRK could provide subtitles. But then they said, we can't do that, this was created for Norwegian audiences, and it's a music copyright issue where in order to get the music that they got for the show, they had to like have it be made specifically for Norwegian audiences. They don't have like international copyright or what. I don't know how that legal stuff works. I know that some people reacted really harshly to that, which I don't agree with. Then later I heard that there were plans to make an American version of Skam, and I was like, no, God, why? I know that when people complain about remakes, there's going to be those people who are going to say, what about Shameless? What about The Office? There are good US remakes that it's not always a disaster, but like I honest to God think it's much harder to make a good remake than it is to just make your own original show. It's really hard to be able to pull off what the original was able to pull off while still like trying to form your own identity, which is why I think there are more bad adaptations and bad remakes than there are good ones. And of course, since people compare this to Skins, people are like, oh my God, US Skins was so shitty, this is gonna be so shitty too. I remember when the US Skins was made, and some people brought up that with Skins you follow a new cast of characters every 2 seasons. What if instead of like reheating the same story that we've seen from the British version, they can just use the format of Skins and then create completely different characters for the American version? I honestly think that US Skins would have been successful had they done that, because when I watched MTV Skins, the best things about it were when it completely diverged from what they had done before. Like, I liked the female characters more because they were more different than the characters from the British version. I liked what they did with Michelle. I thought that her episode was the strongest one. I think the second strongest one would be Taya's, except Taya's involved Tony, who was so miscast. In the original, Tony was an asshole to his friends. He was emotionally abusive towards his girlfriend, but at the same time, he was very good looking, very charming, very charismatic and manipulative. So you could understand why he was so popular, even though he was a terrible person. And in MTV Skins, he was not only an asshole and emotionally abusive and a cheater and all of that. On top of all of that crap, he was like this vanilla, boring, not charismatic or charming at all. So you just think, what was the appeal that people could see? They cast somebody who could not live up to like what Nicholas Hoult gave us in the original. I think the same thing about American Skam. What if instead of taking the story that we've already seen and then casting American people, I feel like it'd be better if they just had the same format of release a new clip in real time on this website, release like their text messages, and their Instagram pages or pictures or videos. I will say also that I have a problem with the idea of remakes and reboots in principle, in that I feel like the reason why a lot of people are tired of like American media and especially like bigger budget things is because I feel like the producers care more about like making money than they do about creating a good story. So they give us really generic things that we've already seen before because that sells, or you know, it's been proven to sell, and they don't take as many risks in terms of storytelling, in terms of like casting, like the types of points of views that we've seen. One of the things that I like about international media is that it tends to be lower budget, so they have the opportunity to take risks in terms of storytelling. But also it's a different perspective. Like, I don't want to see everything through an American's perspective and see everything be set either in LA or New York City. I like seeing something set in Bristol or set in Oslo and seeing how they're culturally different. I like learning about different cultures and different people. And I feel like with remakes, there's the implication that if it's set somewhere outside of America, then Americans can't relate or can't enjoy it. And it's like, no, it's so boring to just see everything through one perspective. It's so much nicer to see different points of view. So I will be going to a public library. I will be taking a flash drive and hopefully I can edit and upload this there. And I hope I don't lose my flash drive because I lost my last flash drive back in December and I'm still so upset about that. Technology has not been on my side, you guys. So yeah, that's partially why I haven't uploaded since November, but there's other reasons which you'll find out about later if those videos get up. But yeah, I'll talk to you when technology in my life works and allows me to talk to you once more. Yeah, bye.